Gather round. Gather round, my great people. Gather round. My name is Andrew Jackson, William Andrew Jackson, but I go by Bill. I'm not a learned man like Dr. Martin Delaney, nor a polished orator like Frederick Douglass, though I did practice in front of the looking glass before I came out this evening. Those of you who came to hear the tale of my escape will no doubt be disappointed. My story is not dramatic like Mr. Henry Brown's. I won't bring out the cargo box I escaped in and climbed inside, or display a diorama with pictures of whipping posts and advertisements of auctions for field hands, or show you the shackles I wore when I swam through a river brimming with alligators. I simply relate my story, which is neither hair-raising nor bone-chilling, and you, workers of Manchester, will decide the sacrifice you are making on behalf. Our behalf, living on relief, not receiving a penny in pay as the mills set idle, are justified by our suffering. I've never picked any cotton, or threshed any rice, or banged any anvils. In the burning sun, I was not whipped, and nor have I worn any rags. In fact, I had a fine uniform with shiny brass buttons and leather boots and gold epaulets. I was a coachman, and not just any coachman. I worked for Mr. Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, and I was treated as well as any slave could be. He used to tell, "You're like a member of those families, Bill," which I suppose he meant the family dog. I was a prize ornament that held the door as he conferred with minister ears too. I heard them describe how they punished recalcitrant. That's a word I learned from them. Recalcitrant slaves, and listened to the laughter when they spoke of men faces chewed apart by bloodhounds. They talked about how to trick boys who owned no slaves at all into fighting their war for them, of burning their entire cotton crop to ruin your economy here in England, of sending spies to convince you this war is not about slavery so you would press your parliament to recognize the rebels. Their agents are spreading lies even as we speak. I beseech you, do not desert us in our hour of greatest need, just when President Lincoln has promised us emancipation. As for the story of my own escape, I know it's indispensable. That's another word I learned from them. I didn't stow away on a ship, or run through the swamp, or swim across in his library. Even though it's strictly forbidden, I suppose he found my curiosity amusing and harmless. So I learned to read, and then I taught myself to write. And one day, I wrote myself a patch that said, my coachman, William Andrew Jackson, has my permission to go wherever he wishes. Signed, Jefferson Davis. I showed it to a sentry on the road north of Richmond, and he let me go on. And I talked about how I walked until I was out of sight. And then I took off running. And I didn't stop until I reached Philadelphia. From there, I boarded a boat for Liverpool, which is how I'm addressing you here tonight in Manchester. On behalf of all present and former slaves, I would like to thank you, workers of Great Britain, whose support for our great cause has never wavered.